All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to meet the queen of Orlando real estate who does 750 transactions this year worth about 200 million in sales. Coming up next on Cliff's Notes. Real estate agents, are you struggling with the day-to-day grind, dialing for dollars, putting in hours of floor time with little to show for it? Are you looking for tips, tricks, and tactics to accelerate your career as an agent that will have you closing more homes, working with more clients, and earning more money than ever before? Hi, my name's Cliff Freeman, and I've spent the past 2 decades of my real estate career running one of the top brokerages in DFW and personally coaching over 1,000 high-performing real estate professionals across North America. I created this podcast to share the strategies and tactics you need to explode your real estate business. I guarantee it. And I do guarantee you today, make sure you've got your pen from Freedom Title. That was nice of them to give us a pen, wasn't it? And a big stack of paper, because we're going to have a lot of WDs for you, writer downers. And Mr. C3, I'm so excited about who we have. We've met this young lady when she joined us back in Orlando, I believe it was, a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And just had the best time. Before we bring her on, Trelvis, just want to do a quick check-in with you. Are we going to have college football this year or not?
You know what? It's kind of up in the air at this point, but I did hear a couple conferences have confirmed. So it's looking good, but we're going to keep an eye on it for sure.
Okay. Well, I know the Cowboys are going to play because they always practice social distancing when they're playing anyway, right? So no worries
Maybe a little
about that.
too good, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Without further ado, let's bring on our very special guest today, Miss Veronica Figueroa. Veronica, it's so great to see you again. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Good. I remember the last time we were together, I think, was in Vegas. First time we met you was at, I wasn't at House of Blues there in Orlando. We had threw a big party. Jay and Mike and everybody Albie threw a big party for you there.
Yep, you came to my splash party.
That was it. And that was, boy, and you haven't even looked back since those days, have you? I mean, let's see, you left, you were with another brand of real estate brokerage and then came over to eXp, and you have actually just been setting things on fire. I think you've broken every record that we had in place here with the business that you do and the agents that you're working with and attracting. What in the world, I know we're going to cut back here in a minute and talk about you, but I just want to know one thing. What's it like doing 750 deals in a year? How in the world? That's like, what, 2 a day or something like that? I mean, how do you manage that kind of a business?
It's a lot of work, a lot of trust, a lot of great people. So far this year, we have closed 396. We have 106 pendings. We're trending 750. We're excited. It's about the people, systems, processes, and always looking at your business and saying, what can we do to get better? So we're not doing the same things that we were doing 2 to 3 years ago to sell the amount of homes that we're selling now. We align ourselves with amazing leaders, people who push us and help us build a business. And before, I was just, selling real estate. So it's a different feeling. It's a different ship that you're driving, but it's a lot of fun. And it really has given me.
Yeah, I want to unpack that because I really want you to, if you would, just kind of open up your business for us here and give us a little detail. But before we do that, one thing that C3 and I really like to do, and I think one of the reasons why people enjoy the show is because you're a celebrity in your market and everybody, you're held in very high esteem out there in Orlando. And I just, I like to be able to introduce who that person is behind the celebrity. So can we do one thing? Can we just kind of rewind the tape here a little bit and tell us about Veronica growing up? If you want to go back and even as far as your childhood, what was it like growing up in your household?
Well, it's not easy being the favorite.
I love it.
My parents are amazing. I am the daughter to an amazing mother and father. My father was a drill sergeant in the military. My mother is the real OG. So my parents met in Puerto Rico, and my father decided to go into the military. And my mom, every military base that my father was stationed at, she would find all the Hispanics wherever they were at, whether it was just one or two of them or whether it was 50 of them, and she would start her little community. She would go find the products that were that were culturally connected to our Puerto Rican culture and island. And if they didn't have the products at the grocery store, she would become the grocery store. She was the OG of bringing all the people together and saying, oh, there's no festivals, let's start a festival. So she actually, when Mark Anthony wasn't who Mark Anthony is, she brought him out to our town where we used to live at. And, she was just such a mover and shaker. So I started working with my mom at a young age. My mom always would make me work. My brother and I had to work. But we had a great, childhood. And my dad, being a drill sergeant, he was tough on me, but always made me believe that I was capable of so much. He would lie to me and tell me that I could do more push-ups than his private. So I literally thought that in my head. But my dad also was the type of dad that I wasn't allowed to go play outside until I finished my chores and did my timetables, flashcards. And he would, I was just at it. So I think the discipline that my parents taught me has a lot to do with who I am today. But we had such a great upbringing, and music was a part of our lives, family and friends, and just, that cultural upbringing I think is part of my spirit today. And I say again, my mom is my hero. She taught me everything that I know. And I think that I'm living the second generation of her community building skills. And just if something's not there, we go and build it together. Or if someone says no to us, it's not impossible. My mom got the key to the city once. And I just look at her and I admire what she's done. And she just is like I said, my hero. And, I had this amazing foundation, and I've said this publicly. There was no reason I should have been that statistic that ended up being 16 and pregnant. And then I was told that that's it. Your life is down the drain. You aren't, that's it. You're going to be barefoot and pregnant for the rest of your life. And I was like, I didn't die. Something happened that wasn't part of the plan, but why do I have to be a statistic? And I just looked at my parents and said, look, we're going to overcome this. I'm sorry. This wasn't part of the plan, but my son saved my life. And the rest is history. I graduated from college, graduated from high school at the same time as everyone else. And then I just started liking.
Wow. And, I as I go back, I get goosebumps thinking about that. And, I've coached hundreds, if not thousands of agents, hundreds really one-to-one closely. And there's a common characteristic that great agents like you have, and that's that you don't understand what the word no means, if anybody ever tells you no. And at some point in your life, you had to overcome something extraordinary. And I would have to say that having a child at 16 years of age today is pretty damn extraordinary to have to overcome. And that's wonderful that you made the decisions that you made, and it's a great testimony to what can happen when things go wrong, right? Because it's not about falling down, it's about getting back up. So that is wow, that's just really, really powerful. And I mean, I'm telling you, your DNA between your mom and just your dad, your imago, the things that built you to be successful. So, I mean, you're a great person for us all to look up to, and congratulations for overcoming some of those hard steps when you got started. Let's talk about real estate for a minute, because how old were you when you actually got into real estate?
So I actually got my real estate license straight out of college at 21. And I got it to just accompany a friend to the class, because in Orlando, timeshare capital of the world, everyone thought we were going to get rich selling timeshare. And I had not landed a job yet in what I wanted after my degree. And my friend said, hey, let's go get our real estate license. And he never passed. I passed my test, and, I just added it as another credential, but I got my license the day after 9/11.
Wow.
And I just, like everyone else, I was freaked out, and I said, okay, well, I'm never going to find a job. I'm never going to work in real estate. I really didn't know if I wanted a career in real estate. But it did mean, that I had another, I would say, credibility. I mean, a degree. I mean, another certification that I could add to my degree. So I thought it was helpful. And I put it on the shelf. I didn't do anything with it. I did a little bit of timeshare training, but it wasn't anything that at the time I could appreciate until again, another unexpected life turn. I got divorced. I was going through a divorce. Now I had 2 kids, and I had to supplement my income. And I remember having my real estate license, and I said, well, let me do this part-time. And that part-time, 3 months later, I realized, wow, like if I did this full-time, what am I capable of doing? And I looked at my mom. I said, hey, Mom, I'm going to quit my full-time job. I'm going all in. I'm going to be a real estate agent. And she thought I was crazy, but she also believed in me. And, fast forward, 17, 16 years later, here I am.
That's amazing. So let's talk about this for a second. After 3 months of being a full-time worker, part-time real estate agent, you knew that you needed to go full-time real estate. There are a lot of agents watching the show right now who are struggling with the same situation. They want to put their foot in the water, but they don't want to dive in. What do you have to say to them?
Going back to my mom's story, if there's no product, go find it. If there's no one doing something that, you feel needs to be done, go do it. So that's what I did. I went to business owners. I've always known that I could, be really successful if I go all in. And so what I did is I knew I wanted it. I had a little taste of it and I refused to fail. So instead of just hoping for someone to bring me business, I went out and I found it. I would go to local businesses. I would ask them how I can help them grow their business. Who's their ideal client? How can I support their company? So I started going to the people who knew a lot of people because I needed to make money quick and I couldn't go just one person at a time. So I would go to people who had a massive audience. At the time, Facebook was not around. At the time, none of this social media was around. So the only way I can get through critical mass was by meeting important people. So I would go to businesses. I don't care if you were the pizzeria owner or the hot dog stand owner, but if you were around people and you knew people, I wanted to know who you were. And my goal was, how can I help you grow your business? Because in turn, I hope that you become an ambassador of mine. I also made sure I didn't miss a baby shower. I didn't miss a wedding invite. I didn't miss a baseball game or anything that there were going to be a lot of people. And what I did is I made sure everybody knew what I did and that I loved doing it. But my ultimate goal was to help them. But I was never a secret agent. And, I think a lot of agents hope and pray for business, but they need to go out and put in the work. So what I did is that was my business plan. I said, who do I need to know that I can help them, but in turn, we could build a really great relationship and they become my ambassadors. Okay. I become their ambassador and they become mine.
So that you come from a mindset of contribution. That's always helping other people. The old Zig Ziglar, if you help other people get what they need, then you can get as much as you need or want, right? That sort of philosophy. What for an agent in their first year, Veronica, if you were to write out a perfect day for them, how would you have them spend their time during the day, a first-year agent?
I think this is for first-year agent or any agent. I definitely think that before we start the grind, we need to be in the right state of mind. I have tried different ways of getting into my groove, and I find that journaling and a little meditation and just positive affirmations really does help me. The days that I don't do it, my days off. And it doesn't have to be complex. You could do the 5-15, like 5 minutes of prayer, 5 minutes of journaling, and just reading something that's going to inspire you or push you to do well. Then that's how I'm going to start my day. I have a morning huddle at 8:30 in the morning with my team. If you're an individual agent, I encourage you to find an accountability partner that you could check in with early in the morning and be like, hey, this is my goal for the day. I'm going to go make 5 new contacts today. Overwhelm yourself, because is the number one killer of productivity. If you just start with having meaningful conversations, and I get a lot of agents who say, but I don't know where to go. I don't know who to call. You have your phone. And for the next 26 weeks, if you don't know who to call, go through your list on your phone, start with A, go down the alphabet, and you know who to call for the next 26 weeks or the next 26 days, depending how big your database on your phone is.
That's it.
And don't tell me that you don't have anyone to call. They're going to be your biggest ambassadors, and just get excited and start sending them videos on how much you appreciate their friendship, appreciate them being in your life, and share with them your exciting new chapter that you're on. And you hope to be a resource to them whenever they might need you.
Right. Let's face it, real estate's a contact sport last time I checked, right? And if you don't get out and start making contact with your contacts, the phone's not going to ring. A lot of people get their license and think that automatically that phone is going to start ringing off the wall, and it just doesn't happen that way. Well, how important, and this year you're the NAREP, which is the what is that, North American Hispanic Real Estate Professionals? Is that what it is? NAREP.
The National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals.
Okay, National Association of Hispanic. Yeah, and so you take the leadership part of your responsibility pretty seriously. Then, why is it important for agents to get involved in things like NAREP?
I just think that this industry has so much to offer, and if you, like I said, we're coming from contribution. We're always wanting to pour back. And an organization like NAREP or WCR or your local board, whatever it might be, is going to sharpen your skills as an agent. It's going to put you in the room with agents who perhaps have performed at a higher level than you. And I've always wanted to be stretched. It's going to give you a voice in policy, a voice in, being able to make change. And if you're serious about this organization, there's so much opportunity for you to grow. If you're serious about this industry, there's so much opportunity for you to grow in so many amazing organizations. So when I was invited to participate in NAREP, I was hard-headed. I was like, I'm busy. I'm a busy agent. I'm good. And it took someone being persistent and saying, Veronica, you are exactly what this organization needs. Someone who has a voice, someone who cares, someone who wants to help other people. And when I was ready to serve, and that's very important, you have to come with a servant heart. When I was ready to serve other agents, no matter what company they worked with, I have been blessed so abundantly with just knowledge and relationships. So if you don't know where to serve, do your research, whether it's NAREP, whether it's your local board, whether it's your Florida realtors or your, government. There's so much opportunity for you when you stand up and do this for the right reasons. And I'm proud to represent the National Association of Hispanic Realtors. I never in a million years, I thought I was just going to pay my dues and be like, I'm supporting you guys. But when I saw the opportunity to lead from the front and show people that we're ready to take our industry to the next level, I was like, sign me up. Sign me up, boo.
I love that about you. I don't think there's anything that's ever going to get in your way. Obviously there's a lot of benefit, not just to you, but to the other agents that you work with and touch, that they glean from your leadership and your involvement in NAREP. So hats off. And I think, David Acosta was on our show after he joined eXp, and what a super guy, and just really appreciate the hard work he's putting in as well. I know you guys are good friends. Tell us a little bit more about your business, and I just kind of want just a little general breakdown of your team. I know you've got 51 members. Can you break down a little bit about what positions comprise those 51?
Absolutely. So I'm very fortunate to work with amazing people. They are really what makes up our culture and our team. But through the years, I've been able to realize I couldn't do this alone. And never in my wildest dreams did I think I was going to get to the point that we're a real organization now. I have a VP of Ops. I have a compliance manager on my team. I have a solutions and success database manager who manages and tracks all of our numbers. I have a director of valuations who they do about 700 CMAs a month to help support our acquisitions department as well as my agents and train them. And I have an ISA department, an IPA department, actually, we call it internal performance advisors, to help us ambassador for the agents as well as the clients. Then the rest, I have a director of hospitality as well as then 36 agents that make up production. So I'm pretty stacked on admin just because we're building for the future. We do believe that we will be one of the most successful teams across the country and hopefully in the future. So we're tripling down on the human resources because we understand that agents are independent contractors, and we want to plug them into the best system and build the best agents around those systems.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about how your vision for expansion and doing what's best for your agents led you to eXp Realty.
When I started realizing all the pain points that I was experiencing as a broker and the rat race, the just it was like beating your head again. You either are building up your competition or your agent wanted more and you didn't have a roadmap other than just more commission. And that really wasn't their life. I just started really just looking at what was out there and looking at, what was working for people that I admired. And I always wanted to do expansion, but I didn't know how. I looked at other companies that had a great reputation with expansion, but I also knew a lot of those expansion teams would implode. And it just seemed like more work, and work that still felt like it was not going to give me the roadmap or the agents the roadmap that I truly knew they needed. So when I looked at eXp, just the ability to know that I could be a part of their world, help them, and then help them become way more successful than I've ever been, wildly more successful. And I think it was Michael Reese who opened my eyes. I used to say, the life of an agent, I want them in my roster for 2 to 3, 4 years. He was like, why? He was like, if you're a good leader, why aren't you giving them a roadmap to have stepping stones in their business? And not all of them are going to fit in that box. And, there was a scarcity mindset versus, an abundant mindset where I was like, you're right. Like, I should help them become the next awesome celebrity agent and somehow in our world grow together. And eXp for the answer, because I knew for my agents that this was something that was bigger than me. I could get out of the way and help them reach their goals beyond the transaction. And, that was the moment, that was the turning moment. And when I went to my team and I spoke to them, I remember one of them jumping out of his seats. He says, when are we doing this? Let's do this now.
So it's another Mike and Jay is, once you see it, you can't unsee it. But let's spend a little bit more time talking about this, Veronica, because it's very difficult. If you're coming out of a traditional brokerage, it's like working for the Ford dealership and trying to explain a Tesla. Okay, you just don't have it. You don't know. Everybody in the Ford dealership is preaching Ford, and yet Tesla is sitting over here, which is a much better vehicle for some people, right? So what kind of considerations? You mentioned that you wanted to help your agents. You wanted to kind of remove that barrier of growth, because in that traditional model, the only way for people who are coming up in a traditional MREA team is to get to a certain point, and then they either have to move out of the team, or hopefully you're going to be able to expand and find a position for them, but not likely. And by doing that, what you're actually doing is you literally are creating your competition rather than creating a colleague and a friend that you're going to continue to partner with for the rest of their real estate career. Explain a little bit about why is it building a team at eXp different, and why is it better? What are the different pillars of income? What are the different opportunities for somebody who's in a traditional team at a traditional brokerage? Why is it better for them over here?
I think eXp is so team friendly. From what I have been able to experience personally, I brought over a team of 17. Our team is more than doubled. But now the conversations I have with my members on my team are, how do we expand through their vision? And I can focus on the things that matter most right now: growing my agents, growing my partners, growing the vision. And I don't have to worry about the tedious compliance or, the broker duties that weren't the highest and best use of my time. And I can have higher level conversations. Like Danny Pena, one of my best partners, trusted agents, been with me for 6 years. I've been trying to kick him off the team for 6 years and the guy won't leave, But now the conversation is so different. It's so elevated. I'm a true partner to him. And, before I was very top down, I was the team leader, I was the broker, and I really didn't know what else to offer him. Now, Danny and I, the conversations are, he's like, sent me a text message yesterday. He was like, wow, the agent attraction pillar is addicting. He was like, I love helping new agents. Like he is addicted to asking an agent, hey, can I share what's working with us on our team? If we could give you our playbook, like what could you really do in your business? And like just that pillar. And I've got Chris, my VP of Ops, coming in and saying, did you see the stock today? Oh my God, just from last week when we showed our agents to make sure that they're taking advantage of the stock option, and he shared his screen with the agents, it's gone up $4,000 just in less than a week, let alone what, I've only gotten awards and beautiful, beautiful trophies from my previous companies. And I looked at my stock today. I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
You could do the math. I have over 9,000 shares. I mean, I'm like 9,700 shares. I'm like, yay.
Right, and you got that by buying the shares through the agent equity purchase program, and you earn shares because you're an icon agent, right? And the stock's up 231%. So there's rev share, there's the stock. Where's the final? Where do you want to? How have you changed the vision that your agents have coming on now? It used to be, well, you're going to be a buyer agent on my team, and that's as far as you can go, right? So are you building? We always say leaders building leaders. Are you teaching your agents now how to go out and duplicate what you're doing?
Yeah. So the number one mistake I made when I first came to eXp is because we're a high performing team, we were just like, okay, we're going to sell real estate. And I was the one that they were like, she's a grower, she's this. And then I had to pause and look at my team and say, wait, so are you, and so are you, and so are you. And now they're on those high level conversations. We're on Zooms already talking to international islands and countries, and they're on there. Who do you know? Who do you know? I've got people speaking to governors, speaking to, politicians and people who know the CEO of this company, know the CEO of this company, and they're the ones leading those conversations. I'm here to facilitate a platform for them to know that I've got their back. And if we have to do the heavy lifting, we're going to do it with them. And I know who to call to make sure that they thrive and shine. And I would have never had that conversation with them before because I even see that. So now it's a lot of fun, and my partners, my 780 plus partners that I have across the country, like that's true expansion. And the conversations that we have is like, so what country are we going to? And it's just so much fun to know that we have the opportunity to change lives and change the way real estate in many places that still need advancement. So I'm excited about that because I'm like, put me in, coach, like who do we need to help? And it's just a different conversation.
Isn't it great that you get to impact so many more people's lives for the better now than you could have a short 2 years ago?
You don't know it. You can't experience it until you're here. It's just a feeling that, eXp, and this is where I'm going to get really mushy. Like it's changed my life. It has saved my marriage. It has helped my mental health. Because this can be a rat race. And I just ask anyone who's listening to this that honestly understands that real estate should not be cutthroat. Real estate is not about you running yourself ragged. This is such a beautiful industry, and eXp and our amazing founder and leaders have truly paved a way, and we just won't. And it's just amazing to know that we get to do this together.
Wow. Well, I wholeheartedly agree with you, and thank you for just being honest and from the heart in your words.
Yeah, because it's definitely changed our lives too.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at. I feel like I'm looking in the mirror, except you're a
Right.
lot better looking. Was there?
Well, I
There
mean,
was
here's the
something.
deal. We're a real estate company. We still sell real estate, a
Yeah,
lot of
Right.
it. So we
right.
sell it happy. We sell it in a way that's not, I could call Jay, Michael, I could call Gogo, I could call you, and I'm like, hey, I'm running into this snag on my team. How would you handle this? And like, oh, I know who was able to overcome that. And we just share, but because we grow together, this company's growing together and our lives are growing,
Right,
which
exactly.
I'm happy for.
Yeah, it's competitive, but we build lifelong friends here.
Right. It's
And-
back to the core values that eXp has, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. So what? Gosh, I can't believe how fast time flies, Veronica. But I did want you to mention you're about to pen a tome, a book, right?
What's-
Tell us a little bit about that. What's the name of your book you're writing?
So the book is called The Queen of Teams,
Queen of Teens.
and it will be, The Queen of Teams, and it'll be all about my journey of building teams, all the mistakes I've made, all the lessons I've learned, the things I feel that we've done right. And I've been building teams since 2008. I don't know if you heard the story, but when the market crashed and the short sale market, and there was no inventory, and it was REOs, I took my last $5,000 and I flew to Texas to a 5-star conference, and I was like shaking every asset manager's hand and saying, who do you know, the agent in Orlando, and da 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 da. And my husband said, you're crazy. I'm like, I'm going all in. I rented out a bowling alley to winding asset managers. I don't even know how I did that. I think I actually rented out 2 lanes because that's all I could afford. But my point is, when I came back, my husband said, you're crazy. I said, baby, we're going to get at least one asset. I came back to 37 assets in one day, but they were all over the state. So I had to build teams all over the state overnight. Because when you get
Wow.
a REO asset, I called it to the universe, but I just didn't tell them what area I wanted. So overnight, I had to build teams. And if you have blood running through your veins, you may have been the person who was doing property inspections for me, checking on to see if it was a vacancy report or not. And if you had a cousin living in town, guess what? I may need their PO box. But I have built teams for the last 12 years. I would say about 12, 13 years. And I want to share the story of what that has looked like, the lives that have impacted my life and have gotten me to where I'm at today, so that anyone who's looking to scale their business and grow their business, they can do it through people with a clear vision and understand that you can build this as big as you want. So the next iteration of Queen of Teams right now is just this journey, and I hope to have a 2-part once we go global to see what that global team will look like.
Oh man,
That's awesome. We can't wait either.
I can't wait to see what you're going to do. I mean, it's just fascinating to to know if we track your past performance and project it out into the future, especially on this platform. It is really going to be amazing. Wow, yeah.
So Veronica, I haven't really gotten to talk too much today, but I wanted to chime in. I admire your success. I admire your passion for your family. I admire the passion that you have for the business. You're a very wonderful influencer to look up to in regards to the real estate community. So one question that I have, and probably most people have, is how do you find that work-life balance at home and keep that? You were talking about your marriage with your husband, how it was shaky, and then eXp fixed that. How do you manage to find that work and life balance?
I would have to say that through coaching and through personal development, we have just really come together in a way that's been such a blessing. John Cheplack is my coach. He's really helped me get clear on a lot of things. But I would say that Tony and I, any husband and wife couple that work together out there, we finally realized what our lanes were in the business and what our strengths were. And there were times where we were competing against like who was the most powerful or who was the boss and who was this. And when we started looking at each other's strengths, and we actually started a show, which we're getting ready to kick off again, which was called Ride or Die Power Couples in Real Estate. And we started interviewing other couples in real estate, selfishly to learn how they were balancing real estate and marriage. And we invited so many amazing people. And obviously that was during the transition of us going to eXp, also us launching Zillow Offers. So we had to table some stuff, but we had some really great shows. And since then we've aligned with other great couples who are very, very, inspiring to us and who have inspired us to want to be better. And my husband and I finally said, let's really define what I'm good at and what you're good at. Let's help each other in the areas that we're not strong in. And let's go after this, life together. And real estate got in the way because he was like, hello, I'm over here. I know you saw a lot of homes, but you got to eat. You got to be a mom. I am your husband. And then what I've learned through the love language is like, he just wanted my attention. So investing in people, in the right people who wanted my marriage to work, who wanted me to have time in my life, also has been a blessing to my life and my marriage, because they were like, hey, go enjoy that week off. Leave your phone here. We've got your back. You and Tony deserve it. And I just started surrounding myself by people who really wanted us to win at all levels. And the best blessing that I can look at is seeing my family happy and my marriage happy. And the abundance has just been like sticking to me. And it's really fun. But I will say that it really came down to being around people who just elevate you. And, you can't be a happy marriage when you're around people who aren't happy for your marriage, So I just started subtracting anything and anyone who was not good for me and started focusing on what was important to me. And my marriage is the most important thing. My family is the most important thing. And now Tony runs our mortgage division. I run the real estate division. It's fun to watch him coaching his team. I go in as a consultant to help them, and he comes into my team and is very supported on me. And then, the eXp world, we're growing it together, but he obviously lets me kind of be creative there. And now we're building up our successors in our team so that we can then go build bigger. And, traveling is safe, putting a passport stamp on that passport and going and helping more people.
That's awesome.
What a great question.
Yeah.
To end the show with too. And wow, I just, big is all I can think of. Your vision is big. What you're doing is big. You're going to put a big dent in the universe, you and Tony. And Tony's a great guy. And,
yes.
We were going to tell the story about how you guys met, but I want you to promise you'll come back in 6 months and we'll share that story with the audience on that show. Will you do that for us, Veronica?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Hey, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, ask you a question or two, get to know you a little better, what's the best way for someone to contact you?
They can reach me at veronicainspires.com, and that's inspires with an S. And they can follow me on IG and find me on Facebook. And yeah, you can hop on my calendar by going to that link and always calling me or texting me.
That's awesome. Well, hey, again, just what a thrill to have you on the show. It's awesome. I can't wait to see you and Tony and the gang again. Hopefully we'll be down in Orlando. I don't know if it's going to happen this year again or not, but we're so excited. And thank you for being on the show with us today. I know you touched a lot of people out in the audience, and it's always great to see you and hear your stories, Veronica. So take care. We'll talk to you again. I'll ping you and we'll get you back on the show. That's a wrap, C3. Thank you. Great question to end with. Trelvis, want to wish you a great rest of your week and a great weekend. And we'll see the rest of you guys next week right here live Thursday at 1 o'clock Central on Cliffs Notes. All right, folks, tune in to Cliffs Notes every Thursday at 1 o'clock Central for the tips, tricks, and tactics to explode your business. I guarantee it.